Daddy eats lots. Daddy eats lots. Daddy eats lots. Munch, munch, munch.
Hello and welcome to Daddy Eats Last, where we discuss the challenge of being a man in modern society and whatever the hell that even means. I'm Kane, and joining me this evening after many a technical difficulty, mainly from the good state of Queensland, where they can escape and go to cafes, but they can't access a simple video link. How are you, boys? Ryan and Maddie.
Good, thanks, mate. Yeah, we're a bit behind here with our technology. I think it's just me, though, not the state of Queensland, so I won't put them in the same category as my defaults.
How are you doing,
No,
Ryan?
I think anyone who's in Melbourne needs to do a bit of Queensland bashing once in a while. I'm good. I have no freedoms compared to you guys, but I'm good. Fed some squirrels in a park this morning here in London, which was absolutely lovely.
I do remember the first time I went to London with my better half, and we got off the plane, and I assumed she was jet lagged, but she chased the squirrels around. I think it was Hyde Park for like 20 minutes, like a giddy school kid, and I just never forget. I've gone, they're vermin. Like, I don't know why you're getting so much entertainment out of a squirrel.
Yeah, there are plenty of squirrels and pigeons here. It is it's actually quite nice. My better half, she loves to take a bag of peanuts and feed the squirrels. So we've sort of adopted them as pseudo pets during lockdown.
Oh, mate, yeah, two peas from the pod then, because yeah, my better half was much the same. Bit of empathy for the squirrels, where I was like, I don't give a stuff about them. Let's go see some cool stuff. Boys, so tonight we're going to do some random questions. Like we've done COVID to death, really. Like, you know, the amount of COVID ground we've covered over the last sort of 8 or 9 weeks has been intense. So I might change it up and just ask each other some questions and get each other's opinions on some sort of quick and easy questions. And as our relocated Queenslander, Matthew McTighe, put forward this topic as something we could do, maybe he could have the lead-off question.
With pleasure, gents, and they do get a bit deeper as they go on, but I'll kick off with this one. What food don't you like or really hate that you wish you did like?
I've got to say, there's no food that I really hate. Honestly, I'm pretty good with most foods, and most foods are pretty good for me. So yeah, there's really nothing, unfortunately. I think a pretty weak answer to that one.
I'm on the other end of the spectrum. I am an extremely fussy eater. So I'm going to say Thai, Mexican, and Indian are all three foods that I do not like, but kind of wish that I did, because as you can imagine, when you get a group together of people to go out to a restaurant, being able to turn around and say, basically Australian, American, Japanese, Chinese, and Italian is pretty much all my pick. It limits the joy that the others do turn around and say when they go, let's go for Thai or let's go for Indian or Mexican. So, and I know TK would certainly like them a lot more if I did. However, I love seafood, and there's quite a few people that don't like seafood. So whenever I do really get pushed for it, I tend to turn around and go, well, let's go have seafood. And they go, no. So that's about my only saving grace.
I should actually say what my pet hate is overpriced food. So I go out and something's overpriced. Like if I'm paying $25 for a hamburger or something like that, it's more the cost for it. I can't see the value in something maybe that expensive when it's just some minced meat on a patty. What about you? Maddie? What food do you hate that you wish you loved?
I wish I loved avocados, and I've tried them many a time because I know how good they are for you and the benefits of the good fats, but I just can't stomach them. The taste is just no.
So I used to refer to them as girlicados, because almost on a whole, most guys that I knew when I discussed avocados didn't like them. Most girls liked them, but now it'd be a hipstercado, because everyone who's a hipster, they can't afford a house as per Bernard Salt, but they can have smashed avo every goddamn weekend at a cafe.
That's true. Although I think, Kane, your disdain of overpriced food goes to everything. Your disdain for overpriced anything is probably something there.
That's fair. Absolutely fair. Do you have another question, Maddie? You've got an extensive list, and it's going from superficial to deep. So,
you want me to keep going? Okay.
I think so.
Yeah, sure. What's the one thing in your life you could not live without, apart from family?
Oh, technology, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Just given what I do, if I didn't do my job and I had to get another job, then that would probably change. And also keeping in contact with people. So at the moment, it's probably, unfortunately, technology. But yeah, my legs, I really like running. So that would be another answer.
Yeah, I'd say tech. I mean, Apple kind of owns me. I'm doing this via my new iPhone with my AirPods, with my Apple Watch connected, and I think I use my MacBook every day. So yeah, they do kind of own me. But I would actually say I just generally could not live without coffee. So yeah, making sure that I chase down good coffee wherever I go, and running shoes similar to Kane. If I couldn't run, I think I'd be in an asylum seeker. No, not an asylum seeker. What's the mental health one? The mental asylum.
Asylum, yeah.
Yeah. See, this is what 3 months of isolation does to you. I think I'd just be going absolutely insane, or somebody would have killed me by now, because they would have to put up with me without being able to run. So they would be my things.
And probably fed you to the squirrels, weren't you, Matty?
Look, I'm the same as you boys. The ability to exercise, I think, without that in my life, I'd go stir crazy as well. It's just a great way to stay fit and also clear the mind as well. But Ryan, I guess throw one quickly back to you. Have you gone a day or more than a day without a coffee?
Good question. I went one day. See, I was late to coffee, so like I didn't have it for quite a long time, and then I started in uni, and I was like a coffee a week or whatever. But probably when I moved to Melbourne destroyed me, which it usually does. So since moving to Melbourne, I would say maybe 1 or 2 days in 7 years that I have gone without a coffee, and that has been as a result of, I think one of those was in America in 2018, where I just got completely caught out between travel, and probably the other one would have been a similar situation with travel. And I don't know that I would be very fun to be around on that following day.
Now, Matty, as an avid Milo drinker, do you have coffee now? Have you upgraded, or are you still made of Milo?
No, I'm still made of Milo. I'll never be made of coffee. Although I did try one of those hybrid little sachets of coffee with, I think it was vanilla flavouring, thinking that I don't want a chai or the chai tea, is that what you call it? Anyway, a vanilla scented tea. So I thought, maybe I can transition to coffee that way, but no. I'm still on the
I have a good rule now. Like, I don't have it after 2 p.m. and I don't have heaps. I just have 2 quite strong ones, but would struggle to go without, I think.
Yeah, I've been cold turkey off the coffee for almost 2 years. So yeah, it's
wow.
I was just really just to annoy somebody else, and it probably still does. But I have a question, guys. What do you worry about most? What worries you the most? It could be something, superficial. It could be something really deep. Yeah, got stumped. Wait, I'll give you some thinking music. I'll just bust out my make-believe piano. Chasing cars. Maddie's learning on the piano.
I think possibly finances, but more from a provision, a future provision side of things. So finances with kids is probably one of the things that I worry about quite a lot, and likely to be. They talk about that sandwich generation of assisting up and assisting down with finances. Probably that would be the big thing, I would say.
Interesting. Hey, you, Maddie?
Probably along the same lines as well. Finances from a point of view of just budgeting. I tend to do the budgeting in the family, and at the moment the grocery bills are a lot higher than they are budgeted for. So keeping that in tow, and for some reason that does worry me, because I know that the money could be going into other areas such as holidays for myself. But yeah, probably budgeting, I think. Which is sad, isn't it?
No, it's common.
Yeah,
It's
very exciting.
No, it's one of the most common things that people worry about, and one of the most common reasons people, relationships splinter. So the fact that you're worrying about, and I assume talking about it with your spouses, and maybe not lashing out on 12s all the time, Maddie. Just taking steps to bring things back within the budgetary constraints. They're good things. They're good things to worry about.
What about you, Kano?
Death, just death. Everything else is irrelevant. Just death. Just getting, dying, getting sick and dying. It's pretty morbid, but that's it. Everything else is a bonus. So yeah, and not just me, just family. I worry about family more than me. So I'm pretty aware of my own mortality. But yeah, just worry about it every now and again.
I've got a death-related question here, actually. Might roll into that. What do you want your final words to be?
That's an interesting one.
I can go first.
Yeah,
I've thought about this. Are any of you boys Star Wars fans?
Yes.
Okay. My final words would be, in the voice of Yoda, there is another McTie. And then die. And then just leave them at that, leave them guessing, work out, what the fuck, oh my god.
I'll pay that, that's quite good. Yes, closer.
I've never actually thought of final words, because I kind of just hope for a quick and simple death rather than one that I actually get to contemplate and think out. But I don't know. I'd like to just be able to, just before I die, say to myself, I had a good run, and I'd be pretty happy with that. Just selfishly for myself rather than words for anyone else. But yeah.
Yeah, I think might have some level of expletive in there, whether the expletive's directed at somebody else, just the situation, or myself. It would definitely have some level of expletive in there. So I apologise in advance for anyone who's around at the time, but I'll have a potty mouth for sure. You're on. Do you have any questions?
Yeah, I've got one. I've got two that are on a similar line, actually. So the first one is, what do you wish that you had been told, or what would you tell yourself before having kids?
Man. I'd tell myself to just do everything you always wanted, which didn't rely on time. Like if you have a timeline to do something, get it done before kids, because after that it's just what is it? Every day's a 12-hour shit show. It's just different things that happen in that show every day.
12-hour shit show. I love that. Similar to Kane, I would tell myself, just go and travel. Just go and see as much as you can now by yourself or with your partner. And yeah, which I'm glad you're doing, mate, before you tie the knot and have kids, because once you do, you look back and go, well, I definitely look back and go, fuck, I wish I had gone so many more places. The opportunities are there. You had all the time in the world, and now you got to wait until they're at an age you can either leave them with someone else, or you got to take them with you.
Or wait for a public holiday or school holidays and just tell your missus I'm off.
Yeah, when they're close together, sneak it through.
It is something I've been thinking about. I want to do like this 2 to 3 month road trip through the States. I'd love to. I've always just wanted to do that. And I'm like, that is kind of like, in an ideal world, I'd basically do that, finish that, and be like, okay, good to have kids now. Plus climb a mountain. But again, on the similar lines, I suppose then, what's one thing that you wish that you had done before kids?
Good good question.
Like, do you look back on and go, oh, I really should have knocked that off before I had a kid?
I don't think there's nothing which springs to mind that I think I should have knocked off. I wish I had have maybe got some just more random stuff done, but there's nothing on my burning desire list that I hadn't really had some sort of crack at. But yeah, again, going back to that financial security aspect, there's another mouth to feed, another mouth to worry about. So you can't kind of take as many big risks.
True. I would have loved to have finances pending, of course. Maybe, just bought something and just a bit of property development, maybe. That's something working well. But I mean, obviously we're saving for a house and other things. But that would have been cool to be, or probably would have been easier to do without kids, I reckon. So, I mean, I'd love to still do it, but I just can't see the time available while I've got kids and they're at school and et cetera, et cetera. So, yeah.
Maybe when they're older, bench that one.
When they're older,
the future.
Well, kids can be a sliding door moment. I'm just using that as a perfect segue into my question. Do you have any sliding door moments that changed your life? Like any moment of time where if I'd have gone down that path, my life would have been completely different?
Yes. Quite a few, actually. But the earliest one that I can think of was I was studying engineering. I'd got a reasonably good score in school, like quite high. And I was living in Perth, and I went, well, engineers make a lot of money, especially if they're mining engineers, so let's go down that path. And not like coming from a family where no one had really gone to university, I went into engineering and was like, this is shit. I don't want to do it. Because I thought I got to like build stuff, but really all it was sitting behind computers and doing calculations. So left that.
We might get back to Ryan there. I think he's just dropped out, so the technical difficulties have gone across the ditch to London, and now he may continue because he's just come back online. Now, across to our UK correspondent there, Ryan Ebert, whose audio is just dropping out at the moment. So maybe I'll pick up the slack there, and I'll say my sliding door moment was that I'd actually been accepted into a dip ed. So I got to the end of my accounting degree and had been accepted in to do a dip ed to become a primary school teacher, subject to actually passing my accounting degree. I failed my last subject in my accounting degree by 1 mark. So I was really 1 mark away from being a primary school teacher instead of being an accountant. And that would have completely reshaped my life. I probably would have never have met my partner. Obviously, who knows what happens from there. I would never have started as an accountant or done anything along those lines. So I was 1 mark away from being a primary school teacher or a teacher rather than going down that route. And that would have completely changed all sorts of different aspects of my life.
Sorry, Kane, I'm back. I've got this thing that cuts me out of social media after 30 minutes. So it kills calls like this.
That's
fantastic. So
That's a fantastic idea.
Yeah, it is actually quite good, except for stuff like this.
Yeah.
But what I was saying, yes, I was doing engineering and decided against that. Thought, what do I want to do next? I don't want to do law because I don't like reading heaps and heaps. I don't want to do medicine because I'm no good with blood, and I want to do business. And then actually was told by several people back in Perth at the time that don't go and do business because every man and his dog goes and gets a commerce degree, and you've got to score against that. So then, decided to do something in health, which, because I didn't like the whole blood thing, wasn't med, decided physio. And as a result of that, I get to do a lot of business stuff, but in healthcare. I think if I didn't do that, I'd probably be some money-hungry finance, destroy the world, Wall Street kind of guy without that sliding door moment of people telling me, don't do commerce.
You developed empathy by doing a health science course as opposed to business where they teach you the opposite of that.
Yeah, developed empathy as opposed to go and destroy everything for profit.
Well,
so I'd probably be a bit richer if I had taken that path, but maybe not as maybe not as fulfilled.
You're certainly the best dress physio I've ever come across. So if it's, you've taken the business and you've put it into your dress, so that's at the very least you're nailing that part.
I am glad. I do like the fashion.
I am very similar. Mine was education based. Yeah, you probably got half of it. Where I was 1 mark away from becoming a primary school teacher and didn't, and that would have completely altered basically every aspect of my life. So, you, young Mick Ty.
You would have been a good teacher, mate, I reckon.
I don't know. No, I'm not sure. And having had a kid, I'm not sure my patience level is probably up to the required standard.
Yeah, sliding door moment. Can't really think of any off the top of my head. I mean, there were moments where you look back and go, "I'm glad that worked out the way it did because of everything else that's followed in your life." As in, you know, the old breakup with the ex-girlfriend, which led to other things. But in terms of a sliding door moment, like you boys have discussed.
What about when you started at Moore Stevens? Because we worked together at an accounting firm back in the day. Like, were there other jobs on the line, like applying to that as opposed to applying to, you know, do something else? Like, is there something like that which has guided you, like, has kind of ended up ending up where you are now? Like, playing stick cricket, endlessly, becoming the world champion of stick cricket?
And finding yourself on a podcast with two other dudes as a result of going to Moore Stevens.
Wow, that's right. I mean,
don't start a podcast.
Well, I guess accepting the job at Moore Stevens in the mailroom all those years ago would have been might be a sliding door moment time instead of maybe taking another job somewhere else. Because, like you said, it's led me to my current wife. Meeting you boys, so we'll roll with that.
Oh, just my heart will go on. Matt, you got any more questions?
It's not very good, but if you had to get a tattoo right now, boys, what would you get it of? What would it be of? And where?
Oh, mine's easy.
I'll return a question quickly, though. Do either of you two have a tattoo?
Yes.
I do not.
Yeah.
Kane's the only one that doesn't.
No, I'm a clean skin. Literally, I'm the odd one out when I go to go to a pool or a beach, and people my age, I'm like, everyone else has some kind of tattoo. And I used to have a pierced tongue, and I had a pierced eyebrow and a pierced ear at various points, but never a tattoo. But my tattoo now would be really practical, to be honest. It'd just be something on my hand where I can just go out. Just have out on my hand. So if somebody came to walk in, be it my little fella or my better half, I don't want to be interrupted. Just.
I thought you were going to say your little fella's name or your wife's name, just nicely engraved on the arm. No, out. No. I love it.
If you can't read this, then get the out.
Hang on, have we mentioned on this podcast? Have you got a tattoo, Ryan? Did I not know this?
No.
Have you said that before?
I don't think so. That's why I asked the question.
Oh, right. All right. What is it?
I got a blue European dragon that I designed on the back of my right shoulder, with the initials of my family underneath its wing.
Oh, there you go. Nice.
Had that for actually 10 years this year now. I would I plan to extend on that tattoo when I have kids and put their names on the outside of the wings. But if I had to get a tattoo right now, I would actually get on my other side, on my other shoulder, the back of the other shoulder, I would actually get a world map. If I had to get a tattoo right now, I'd get a world map. Jeez, this is giving me an idea for a tattoo, actually. And I'd start colouring in all the places that I'd been.
Wow,
that's great.
That's awesome. Actually, much like your tattoo, like your one on your shoulder, which you add to, I'll add to the one on my hand. Originally, it will say out to begin with, and then eventually, as I get more frustrated, I'll get more tattoos. So get the fuck out. Yeah. So, what about you, Manny? Any tattoo plans?
Oh, no plans. And people laughed at me when I said this a few years back. But I'd get like the symbol for the sun god on my wrist, I think, or a little palm tree or something tropical, just to remind me of
Remind you of being calm.
Remind me of where I am in the tropics.
Okay, keep you nice and warm on your 14-degree Brisbane days, which is like the coldest day on record or something.
Oh, boys, we froze yesterday.
Yeah, 14, people were out sunning themselves down here. London, there would have been people sunbaking.
Get the reef coconut oil out.
I think it was 21 the other day, and I was running past the park, and no kidding, people were out bikinis and all in a park.
Gotta love the Brits. I'm officially all out of questions about you guys. Any questions remaining on your list?
I got one left. Is there anything that you, or have your culinary experiences and expertise improved as a result of the recent months' lockdown? Have you jumped onto the baking or cooking bandwagons that everyone's doing?
Not really. I made a couple more pastries. I made pastry to put on top of a pie instead of just mashing potato and making a shepherd's pie and being lazy. But outside of that, not really. It's kind of winter, so I usually make a soup a week in winter just to have for lunch. But no, so far so good. We're coming out of it here.
Haven't gone MasterChef yet.
No, I was just looking forward to being able to go down to the cafe and have a $27 smashed avocado on some toast. So, you, Maddie, we did see you did share a picture of frankly, it was an amazing cake for your daughter's birthday on the weekend.
Yeah, the kids have their birthdays end of May, start of June, end of June. So Mum normally makes the cakes for those guys, but she's in Victoria, so she can't come up. So I'm taking one for the team, and the kids are picking out the cakes from that good old Woman's Weekly cake book, and Eloise turned 5 this week and chose a typewriter.
What is that?
Thinking it was
what is that
laptop
device? What is it?
Yeah. I had to look it up.
I'm surprised if 5-year-old knows what a typewriter is.
Tap it.
Did she just choose it because it had the maximum amount of Smarties you could fit on a cake?
I think so, yeah. But she was calling it a laptop, so I think there might have been. Yeah, she actually never said the words typewriter, so she was a bit confused, I think. But it was a bit of a challenge. I'd never really done a cake to that sort of detail before, so yeah, I can add that to my repertoire.
Well, and you both, of course, cooked Yorkshire puddings during the lockdown.
Yeah, Ryan's was an inspiration, so I tried to get on that.
Now,
I'll tell you what, I don't know if you have this problem, but the roast beef, Ryan, I cooked it, and it was spitting shit everywhere in that oven, and it was, I didn't clean it, Kim did, but it was so dirty, and smoke was coming out everywhere every time I opened the door. So I won't be cooking roast beef again, unless you got a tip to stop that from happening.
Did you cut the beef? Did you slice it before you did it?
No, straight in.
No, you've got to put some cuts along it. You don't slice it into the things, but you put some cuts along it, and that kind of lets it breathe apparently. That did, okay. Yeah, because mine I don't think spat too much.
Well,
and I'm only thinking that might have been it.
Today's Daddy Eats Last has been, of course, sponsored by Masterfood. For all your baking and cooking needs. I have one recommendation with regards to cooking. If you are on Facebook, and who the hell isn't these days, or if you're on YouTube, check out Nat's What I Reckon. Just fantastic videos of a guy just saying F you to packet mix. It's well worth checking out. Quite funny.
That is hilarious. I've seen a few of those. Thanks, Kane.
But yeah, if there's no more questions, gentlemen, we will wrap up proceedings for another episode of Daddy Eats Last. As I mentioned before, brought to you by Master Foods. If you haven't subscribed to the podcast before, and this is the first time you're listening to it, this is not indicative of what we usually talk about, but it has been fun. Do subscribe and tell all your mates about the podcast, especially if they are guys. And of course, because we were just finishing up with food, that's my dad joke for the week. Catch you next week.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.